Okay, so welcome to Beginner to Master Chess. So in this channel, I'm going to be following Robert Ramirez's chess course from beginner to master level, basically teaching how to play chess. I myself have played a little bit of chess in the past, but I want to sort of see if the promise he's making can be fulfilled. So I'm going to basically start from the beginning. And just kind of build my way up and see how far I can go, hopefully getting to the master level over time. So obviously, I don't take that lightly. There's a long way to go, but I just wanted to start off the series by playing a game against one of the easiest computers on chess.com. So at this point, if we're just sort of thinking about the progression, the first few videos in this series are how the pieces move, how the board is set up, how pieces capture, and just some very basic strategy. Things like controlling the center of the board, developing your minor pieces, things like that. And so I'm going to take that knowledge and play a game against this easy computer, with, of course, the goal over time to be actually playing humans. But, just to start, I want to start somewhere really basic. So we're going to play Martin, who's the easiest CPU. And let's see, mode. I guess we don't really want any help here. And we're going to play random, so we don't get to choose if we're white or black. And as the game goes on, I'll just kind of talk about, really in all future games, I'll talk about what I'm thinking about based on the videos that I've seen so far, based on the things that I'm learning in this chess course. And so the first thing that I've seen Robert do is to basically control the center with one of his pawns. So the computer moves pretty fast. I won't be able to move that quickly. So my thought here is, with this knight getting closer, I'd like to kind of push it out. So I think I'm going to push this pawn up. And kind of the fun part of this series is, you'll see me making very terrible mistakes. But I see one mistake here. He's left his knight wide open, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. And, with an easy computer, mistakes like that will be abound. But so I want to focus on getting my minor pieces out there. So I'm going to move this knight next. And I see actually that my knight can only move here. Right now is blocked by this pawn, and my bishop is blocked here. So I'm gonna think about that. He's moved his pawn here, and if he takes, then my knight will be in a bad position. So I'm gonna take his pawn. And now I don't have anything in the center, so I'm gonna go ahead and push this pawn to try to control the center, knowing that if he takes, I can take right back with my knight as well. So now my bishop is open, and I want to bring my bishop out. And maybe I will put him... Where should the bishop go? I could defend the center square, one of the center squares that this pawn is on. But I don't want to clutter up this area too much. So I'm going to maybe move my bishop. Well, if I move it there and he pushes the pawn forward, then I won't be able to take. So instead I will move my bishop here. So now his queen is attacking my bishop, and my bishop is not defended. I could bring my queen up here to defend the bishop. I could push this pawn up. That's a possibility. I could push this pawn up too. I think I'm going to push this pawn up to get it out of the way of this knight. Oh, actually I can't, because that would put my king in check. So perhaps I will do this instead. Okay, so now what I'd maybe like to do is start getting my queen into the game. So maybe let me bring my queen up here. So again, in these videos so far, it's been pretty simple. So I'm just at this point, you can think of it as just practicing how the pieces move, how they capture, getting a feel for the game, and not worrying too much about the outcome, which is hard because losing is hard, and I I would love to not lose to the easiest computer, but if it happens, it happens. Um, so maybe I'm going to. He talks about having pieces in the center, kind of controlling the center. So maybe I'll leave this pawn here for now. What if I move my knight here? Okay, so he takes, and then I have the option to take with my bishop. I still can't take with this pawn. So I could also take with the queen, but I'm going to take with the bishop. Okay, so he's attacking my knight, but I'm defended here by this bishop, so that's okay. I could try to push this queen out of here. Let me do that. Okay, so the queen actually didn't have anywhere to go there, because if she takes here, then I can take with this pawn. If she takes here, it's defended by this pawn. If she takes here, it's defended by the bishop. And our only other option is to either stay or move to this one square. So I'll take the queen. Okay, so he's pushing the pawn forward. If he takes with this pawn, he'll be attacking the rook. So maybe I will take. Yes, I will take, knowing that it's defended by the queen as well. So easy CPU, I guess, gives me the free bishop. That's okay. And so now what can we do? Well, I was saying I'd like to bring the queen into the game a little more, so where can I put the queen? I could put the queen here and kind of set up for an attack on this pawn defended by the knight. I'm trying to think about, options for checkmate. So I'm just thinking now, if I move my bishop here and he takes with the pawn, I can take back with the queen. That's going to put him in check. And I think his only option will be to block with the rook. And then I can take the rook with the queen. So let's see what he does. Okay, so moving the rook out of the way. So now I'm going to put the king in check. The king can move here, I believe. Now, though, I will take with the bishop. And if I move my queen here, it won't be checkmate because he can still move his king here, but it will be closer to checkmate. So let me start putting some pressure on this king here. Okay, this is good. Now I can do something like this, and I think now I'm really close. I believe this will be checkmate. Okay, cool. So now what I'd like to do, now that the game is over, is I'd like to analyze how this game went. And let's see if it will let me. I've tried to use this tool a little bit. So I'm going to analyze the game now. And we're just going to kind of look at the moves together and see where I made mistakes and where the CPU made mistakes. So it's going to show us that we're starting out with, I guess, what are called book moves. So just very standard openings. And actually what I'd like to do, if it's possible, is key moments. Can I do this? Okay, cool. So this is what I want. So I want to show the key moments in the game. So it moves a little faster than I'd like. So yeah, you can see I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do this. Maybe let's just start move by move. And I'll just maybe kind of speed through. So here he's made a mistake because I can take for free with my bishop. So maybe I'll do that. I'll kind of skip through, and if I see moves that seem really obviously bad on either part, I can stop and analyze those. Here I'm not sure why it's calling this move bad. Obviously there's something, maybe it's just saying the better move is to attack the bishop. I guess it's also bad because it's a free pawn. So here he had a chance to attack the bishop but didn't. So now we've got some, if I see the kind of check mark, thumbs up, or stars, I'm just gonna sort of skip past those moves. These are just fairly good moves. So here he takes, and I'm not sure why this is considered a really bad move. It's considered a blunder. But I'm just going to take back with my bishop. Now it wants me to move my pawn to attack the rook and the bishop, but then my bishop would just get taken. So I'm not quite sure why it wants me to do that. So here, when I made this move, let me see. So his queen couldn't go anywhere this whole time. It was always sort of trapped in this area, but this move made it so that I got his queen next turn no matter what. So skipping ahead a little bit, not sure why it considered this move bad. Again, I guess because he could just attack the bishop. Okay. I guess they saw this as like a retreating move. So here I am setting up to try to do checkmate. Okay, and the rest from here, we know what happens. Okay, cool. So analysis of this game, I feel good about that. I didn't feel like I made any really bad moves, and I didn't give my opponent any free pieces. So I feel good about that. And in the next video, I will either be bumping up the difficulty of the CPU and incorporating and talking about some of the new things that I'm learning in the Robert Ramirez series, or I'll be playing against a human. I sort of want to follow his curriculum of like what he recommends, and so he recommended for the very first thing to just play the easiest computer, get a feel for how the pieces move, things like that. With that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.